Hey guys, this is BJ, co-founder of Super Academy, another episode of Super Talks. I'm here with Kerry Taylor, the CMO of Viacom and the Vice President of Youth Music for MTV.
So yeah, I'm Senior Vice President of MTV International. So looking after MTV around the world except the US. MTV's in 785 million households, 160 countries around the world in 32 languages. So yeah, one of the biggest youth brands in the world. Yeah.
Amazing. I guess it would be good to kind of start with your story and how does one become Senior Vice President of MTV International outside of the US? Where did it all begin?
It began for me, so I've always wanted to work in television. When I was about 10, so I'm from Yorkshire, from South Yorkshire, and my school got invited to be in a Saturday morning TV show in Manchester. So I always thought that I wanted to be an actress, so I was really excited. We went up to the studio for the day. I got there and I was the only person from my class who froze when I got in front of a camera. Wow. So they asked us about school dinners and I completely forgot what to say. And so at that point I realised that I wasn't set to be in front of the camera, but at lunchtime we got to have lunch with the cast of Coronation Street. And I just thought any job where you can eat chips and meet people off the telly seemed like a very good reason to work in an industry. So I always wanted to work in TV. When I graduated, there was a bad recession in the UK, but somebody told me, this was in the day before the internet, that there was lots of TV opening up in Hong Kong. So it's the kind of thing that when you're 21, when you hear a sort of rumour like that, you just get on a plane and go. So went to Hong Kong, got a flight there, turned up there not knowing what the language was, what the currency was.
And boom.
Got a job in a bar, and every time somebody came in, I asked them if they worked in TV.
Yeah.
And if they did, I gave them my telephone number and said, phone me. Again, this is in the days before mobile phones. And then one day, like 3 months later, somebody phoned my house. I picked up the phone and he said, there's a job going at Star TV in Hong Kong. I went for the interview. The woman in the interview said to me, it was for a job in the accounts department. Yeah. And I actually don't know anything about finance. And so she sort of said, what job do you want? And I was like, I don't really know. I just want to work in telly. I just like the idea of being, and she's like, well, there's about 5,000 different jobs you can do in TV. You need to probably narrow it down. And so she said, I don't think this job's for you. And I was so despondent. And she just looked at me and she just said, look, is there any chance that you can type? And when I was growing up in Yorkshire, my mum always used to say to me, as long as you can type, you'll always get a job. So on a Wednesday night for about 4 years, she sent me to night school. And I am like the most shit hot typer you will ever meet. I can do about 70 words a minute. And so I was able to say, I can type. And that is the reason I got my first job in TV. And so I started logging tapes and then I just worked my way up. Yeah. I worked there for 3 years. I worked at the BBC. I was at the BBC, I was a creative, so I was making the on-air spots that advertised TV shows. And then I met somebody who recommended me for another job. This job was, far more senior than anything I'd done before. And I guess it was a job that was so beyond my actual ability that I just rehearsed like crazy for my interview and went for the interview.
So how does one rehearse for an interview?
They
keep it very simplistic for anyone.
Well, they say that 99% of success is preparation. And so if there's one thing that I would like, my one piece of advice that I'd give to anybody is if you get the chance to go for an interview, make sure you're prepared. And by that I mean, know the company that you're interviewing for, know the brand that you're interviewing for, like have watched everything that they do, know the person who is interviewing you. People are vain and they like that ego is massaged, and so knowing something about that person will really help you. And know why you want that job and be able, just go online and read all those kind of, articles about interview questions so you can really show, yourself in the best way. In my job now, I interview tons and tons of people, and it's amazing how few people are genuinely prepared for an interview, or they come in and they've not watched MTV. So when I went for this interview, I'd done all those things, and I was successful, and I got a job that probably was a bit beyond my ability and my expertise, but that was my big break. And from there I kind of, went from strength to strength. But I think I had a passion for wanting to work in TV. I always wanted it. And then I just got really lucky in that I've always had great bosses who've supported me and given me that next step up. And when I've got new jobs, it's generally been because I knew somebody who recommended me. So I guess the other thing that I'd say for people is
Meet people.
Meet people. I mean, you're brilliant at doing this. Like, you're the master of it. But it's so true, isn't it? Like, just go out, meet people, introduce yourself. We just had interns, a batch of interns at MTV this year. And there was one woman, Jaden Taylor, and she put time in my diary. She came to see me, sat down on her first day and just said, you know, what do I need to do? What can I learn from you? And I just thought she will go super far. And she's gone, she's got a job already. But like, she was the one person who did that. And I knew that that was a sign that she was going to be successful.
Wow.
Yeah, get to know people.
Get to know people.
Yeah. And have a passion, like, believe it, like, for me, coming from South Yorkshire, the idea of me working in TV was almost crazy. Like, nobody where I came from ever had a job in television. So even if there's something that your friends and your family are telling you that you can't do, you should believe that you can do it, because if you've got that and that commitment, then I really genuinely believe that you can make it happen.
Yeah, that's cool. And in your role today, how does a week look like for Kerry?
I'm really lucky that no 2 weeks ever look the same. Like, I get to do tons and tons of different things. My job's international, so I get to travel a lot. At the minute, I'm preparing because I'm going to be in Australia next week. I'm speaking at some conferences there. We might be commissioning a new show. We've got this great new show coming called Judge Geordie. So, you know, this week I'm looking at the offline, the rough cut, and seeing whether it's going to be a good show. I just had a conversation about a new marketing campaign for X on the Beach. You know, what should the creative look like? Where should we advertise the show? Yeah. So I just get, I get to have breakfast with you yesterday and find out cool stuff that, brilliant young people like you are doing. So like, I'm really lucky, I get to do so many different things, work with so many different people. Yesterday afternoon, I had a meeting with people in Brazil, people in Spain, somebody who's based in Amsterdam, somebody who's based in Singapore. We did a music event in the Philippines last week. Like, I have got the coolest job in the world. Like, I'm really, really lucky. It's so exciting having those kind of conversations every day.
So no retirement talks yet, and no looks of changing at all. It's just literally, you're in it, you're loving it, and that's it.
Yeah, like me and my husband last night were talking about feeling alive in your job. And I was just going, God, I feel really alive in my job. Like, every day I see MTV and think, it's a 30-year-old brand. There are so many new and exciting brands coming up every day. You've got like Periscope or whatever it could be. And so that just makes you alive, because you're like, how do we make MTV like continue to be the biggest youth brand in the world? Like, how are we going to do that? And that is a really invigorating. Yeah, it's a brilliant challenge.
Yeah. So you're not just at the top and thinking that, MTV are a staple brand and that's it, we've made it, but you're aware of what's coming up next, and you're aware of where to go in the future.
Oh God, yeah.
Which is powerful. It's quite a good site to be in.
I mean, you can never rest on your laurels, can you? Like, you don't know. That's why we've always been successful, because we have to reinvent. You've got to reinvent all the time. And as I say, I love meeting like you and Liam and people like that, because you just sort of realise, like, you'll have my job in a couple of years, and so that keeps me fresh, and that keeps me driving, because you've got to always work to be at the top of your game, haven't you?
Amazing. And I guess on a final note, where do you see the future for young girls who are coming into this industry? Because there's a lot of talk when you look at papers and you look at reports of, there still isn't equality enough, there still isn't enough opportunities for people to kind of go through and cut through. What do you see as a future? And how can people take our conversation and, understand, okay, cool, if I apply myself a little bit more, if I take these kind of metrics, I know that this is where the industry's going, this is where I can kind of play myself.
I mean, I don't think any of us know where this industry is going. The only thing we know is that this industry will continue to change. And I feel really happy that there's so many conversations happening now about getting more women into organisations and into senior positions. I think that's really important. I think it needs to start at a much kind of younger level, though. I think it's about confidence and building that confidence. And all you want to sort of say to those kind of like young women out there is like, completely believe in yourselves, like, have that confidence, to really go for it and, make that step forward. You know,
Yeah.
I'm really fortunate. I work with lots of women.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of women actually who, you know, have got children. You know, and I find them to be like, they're so organised, they're so on it. They feel like they've got to prove something because, you know, they're kind of juggling all of that. And I think that's a real inspiration. So I just say, please don't limit yourself. Just go for it and make it happen.
Powerful. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.